I'm going to show you how to get started with your Cro-Weave blanket. I'm obviously using a very small sample here compared to the size that you'll be doing, but this same principle applies to whatever size your blanket is going to be. So whether you're using my pattern and the exact sizing I did, making it smaller or larger, it doesn't matter, as long as you start with an even number of chains. So when you've got your even number, you start by doing a treble into the 6th chain from the hook. This is a UK treble, so I'm going to yarn over first and find the 6th chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, insert my hook there and complete a treble stitch. I'm then going to chain 1. I'm going to skip a foundation chain and work a treble into the next chain. Chain 1, skip a foundation chain and work a treble into the next chain along. And I keep doing that for the length of my foundation chain. So making a treble, chain 1, skip a chain, treble, chain 1, skip a chain. And you want to end on completing a treble in the last chain so that that forms the edge of your blanket. So that's the first row, and it should look something like this, and you will have a curved chain on the end. Do not worry about that. We will come back to that in a moment when we do the second row, sorry. So we're now going to chain 3. That's going to act as the first treble in the next row. And that's going to be the same throughout every time. And then we're going to do one more chain, so 4 in total, because that extra one is acting like the chain 1 in between that we've done on the rows below. Then I'm going to turn my work, and now we're going to skip a stitch. So this chain of 4 is formed the edge. We don't want to work into the base of that one there. We don't want to work into the chain 1 space. We want to work directly on top of the trebles below, because we want to form a grid that's going to make them all in a line. So I'm going to work a treble underneath both arms of that V, the treble crochet, and complete another treble crochet. Chain 1, and then I'm going to skip the chain 1 from the row below, work into the top of the treble with a treble stitch. So I'm doing exactly the same thing. Chain 1 and treble and skipping below, but just making sure that the treble is being worked on top of a treble so that we're forming a straight line grid. So I do that all the way along. So I've got another treble here. So I'm working under both arms of the top of that treble stitch with another treble and chaining 1 to form a gap. Then I'm at this where I entered the foundation chain. I created this loop of chain here. I want to skip the first chain because that's going to act as the chain 1, and I want to work into the top of the next one along and create a treble crochet from that point there, because then what that does is that then creates this forming a chain 1 at the bottom, 3 for the first treble, and a chain 1 in between. Now I'm ready to do the next row, so I'm going to again do that chain 4 at the start, which is a treble plus 1. Turn my work and complete a treble into the top of the treble of the row below. Chain 1, skip the chain below, create a treble on top of the treble. And you keep doing that for as big as you want your project to be. And obviously if you want to create the check, you will need to change colour. in my pattern, I change colour every 5 rows, and then once you do that, you also then weave for the same amount of rows so that you end up with even squares. I'll show you that just in a second when I get to the end here. So I'm back at the chain part again. So I'm just doing my chain 1, and then I want to make sure there's 1 chain and chain into the next, to a treble into the next chain, like so. So I would keep going for as many rows as I want to do. So if I carried on doing 5 rows, when I come to do my threading and my weaving through, I will be weaving through 5 rows, and that will then give me my even number of my even squares. So yeah, keep going until you've got your blanket base or your warp as big as you need it to be.